Hey, what's going on, guys? It is the Nicholas Versakis Chelsea Football Channel in here today for the match reaction to Chelsea 5, Barrow nil. Yes, 5 nothing win against Barrow. The prediction I had made going into this game, I personally thought the way the game was going, especially in the second half, it was going to be more than 5 goals we put up, but it was only 5. Yes, I said only 5 because of how many big chances we had created in this match. But a game that was as smooth sailing as it come. There was 11 changes in the lineup. That means the entire starting 11. None of the players who started in this team on today played as a starter on Saturday. Crazy when you talk about depth purposes and a second team. This was literally the definition of a B team. It doesn't get more B team than this, actually. Um, in this game, it seemed like, when you think about teams in different levels, this was a team at a different level, even though it wasn't even our strongest lineup. In the pregame press conference, of course, Maresca said that he was going to include young players and, players who haven't been involved throughout the season so far, as examples from Badia Shield, as examples from, you've seen Keanu Newsbury Hall, but he hasn't started much. You've seen the likes of Mudryk, who hasn't played much since, the stretch. We saw the likes of Nkunku, and Nkunku was on fire today. He's still on one. You saw all the likes of these players get their starts since they're still fighting for positions. And again, I think in the post-game press conference, Maresca said it just makes it even harder for him to include these players because it makes it even more of a harder decision. He talks about how all these players deserve the starting playing time, because of how well they train, how well they show they want to be playing in his lineup, but he just can't do it. He's found the lineup that works as a starter in the Premier League, and he wants to keep giving them playing time. So he just feels a little sad for the guys that are basically just forced to play these League Cup games, these FA Cup games when it will become FA Cup games, and these Conference League games because they have no other choice. Because he's basically decided to be like, okay, you're going to play either Premier League or you're not going to play anything else, or you're going to play League Cup games and Conference League games, and you're not going to play Premier League games. So basically, it just switches like that, which it's unfortunate and it's a little for guys who came to play prem football, they won't play much prem football. But at the end of the day, you got to take what you can get. You got to fight for your position, and you got to outplay the guy you're fighting against. So, but let's hop into the sofa score. I want to show you guys these ratings. So here is the sofa score preview for the game. Of course, it's really good. I mean, when you look at it straight off the bat, you see uh I think it's called the momentum score. So you see the attacking momentum. And Chelsea, I mean, the entire game they had the attacking momentum. There was only bits and pieces where you saw Barrow really get involved. They only had like I think they only had like a few shots on. I think they only had one shot on target this entire game, Barrow. But like, what are you going to expect out of the team? They were basically playing hoofball. They really didn't have much of a choice to play anything else except hoofball. Um, but yeah, when you look at the starting lineup for this one, you had Jorgensen predicted. I had Vega in my midfield, and I had Chile starting, but we also did see Chile come in this one, so I was a little bit right by saying that Chile was going to play, but it seemed like we knew that he was going to play. Shield Nisasi, I did predict. Malo Gusto, I wasn't sure if it's actually going to play this game, but I did say I did say he was in my bench. He did start. He only played the half, but it was a person I expected that might play as a bench player, and I expected Etienne Pong to get the start. He did play as well. Dewsbury Hall and Cassidy, a guy I honestly forgot Cassidy was in the team in a way, but Dewsbury Hall and Cassidy were in the center. It was one of those ones where you're like, I mean, just by looking at their sofa score ratings, it was almost like, yeah, that's about as what I expected to see. Mihailo Mudryk, João Felix, Pedro Neto, and Cristo Nkunku was the team in this one. So in this one, you also, when you look at some of these players, so you saw how Vega, he basically was, by looking at his overall heat map, he played the full game. He ended up rotating, I think, into that left center back position at the end of the game because Chile ended up becoming the left back, which I think inverted into the midfield. We'll check his in a second, his heat maps. But we also saw him more in a traditional left back role. I think that's what we also saw more at the end of the game was that more traditional setup, not much of an inverted. But I think we did see Renato come into the midfield, and plus you see it based off this. You see him up here into this heat map using that left center defensive mid role, the left center back, left back, and way higher up the pitch. But Vega was okay today. Um, you know, not didn't step back too well. Benoit Badiashile I thought was actually pretty good. You saw he was getting out of the pitch pretty well, and again in these left hand side spaces, I think he was mostly that left hand side back or center back when Vega was pushing into these spots. That's kind of why you see them. All his aerial duels today, which is really good. Completed 96% of his passes, 119 at 114 out of 119 is great. Didn't his ground duels though is only 1 out of 3, which isn't the greatest, especially for a player of him, especially at center back. You really don't want to see that. But especially winning those aerial, it's a kind of impossible for him to not win an aerial duel. The guy is 6'5" or something. Tisasi was okay. Of course, he got taken out early. Um, for I think it says it over here. Achiampong actually came in for him. Malo Gusto was excellent in the time that he played. Um, he got the assist, I think, for the second Christo Nkunku goal. He looked really good in this one. Dewsbury Hall, he got in all around the pitch. I mean, I could say the same thing, I think, for Kieran Dewsbury Hall and Cesare Casade. It looked like Cesare Casade was more of the guy that was involved with Renato Vega and more and deeper in the midfield. That's why I also think about something about Cesare. If he's going to be involved throughout this season, you're only going to see him playing this role. You'll never see him playing higher up the pitch. Of course, I think Dewsbury Hall was more involved with guys like João Felix, who was, again, it shows mostly of him, but he was playing in more in these attacking areas. But he was able to roam and be a roam-free guy. Mihailo only focused down here on the left-hand side. You see all across the field. Neto, same thing. More of that one-on-one winger. And Nkunku, mostly, he was able to drop back a lot more than expected, but he was the number 9 in this one. So I actually wanted to take a quick look at some of the other performances as substitutes. Chile, I was actually very interested to see. I mean, you kind of see how he was playing more as a left winger, but he was also getting more centrally. So when Maresca talked about how Chile didn't fit the system, how much was that like a political thing behind the scenes, and how much was that, okay, I actually believe that this guy doesn't fit my system? Because I think Chile is too good of a player to the fact that how can he not fit the system, or how can he not learn the system? I mean, he's won a Champions League. He's been the best left back in the world. You could see here he was getting in the midfield. He was playing mostly as a left back, but he was getting up the field and he was playing midfield. So it's one of those things where if he plays more this season, you're going to see him play that role more, and you're going to keep wondering the same thing. Plung played mostly as a right back, but I think it was more as a right back / right center back. Um, I was very happy that he got the playing time in this one. I really wanted to see him play more games, to be honest. But the fact that he was almost able to get 30 minutes, I thought was very beneficial. The same thing with Tyree George. You know, I personally thought he should have started this game maybe. Instead Pedro Neto played. Tyree George came on for Pedro Neto. Of course, George had a chance to get his first Premier League, or not Premier League, first Chelsea goal today, but he scuffed it. A little unfortunate, but I'll be thinking about that one all night, I bet. Carney Chukwuemeka looked so much better than everybody else on the field when he came on. I mean, he's been trying to prove himself. Nani Madueke said it best. This guy is so good. No one has any idea how good this guy actually is. And we see it. We saw it last year before he got injured. We see it still. He's so good, but he just can't find his way into this lineup because how much depth there is. And Mark Guiu basically was the substitute for Christo Nkunku. Didn't get much time. But the thing is, I think this Sova score lets him down a little bit. He does a lot of things right. He's just a little young. Of course, you see all the statistics here on the left-hand side. I mean, can I see? So let's see, actually, based off this first half possession, we actually had one big chance, based off the 3 goals. So it's a little crazy compared to the 7 big chances we had in the second half and only scored, 2 goals? We only scored 2 goals. So we actually took our chances way less in the second half, but we built so many more chances. We were actually a better second half team after already being up 3-0. So it's crazy to think about that. We had a crazy amount of possession in this game, but that was to be expected. 8 big chances. So we actually didn't take our chances as well. Overall, compared to how Barrow did, we were such a better team. We locked in. We came away with a good victory. So yeah, free pickings in this one. Absolute free pickings. We picked them apart. 5-0 win is just absolutely spectacular for confidence of the guys. It's a game that it's basically just to get more reps. It's a rep game. I look at games like this for against crap opponents as rep games. When guys need playing time, it's a way to build confidence. It's a way to build your energy back. It's a way to get your feet under get your feet wet for against for more important games in the season, especially because this is Chelsea are a team. We're looking to win a trophy this season. We haven't won one in a long time based off of how we work. How we function as a team is built on winning trophies. We haven't done that in such a long time. It's crazy to say that. It's been 2 years, 2.5 years, I think 2.5 years, you could say. Based off of that, it's insane. We win something almost every season. We should be winning something every single season. Minimum one trophy. We haven't seen that in almost 2.5 years. So, this was easy pickings, easy work. Of course, we move on to Brighton on Saturday. I don't think that their head coach will be there. I think he was suspended, I'm pretty sure, because of cards. I don't know. So it's gonna be a tougher game for Brighton in this one, most definitely because of that reason alone. Um, Hopefully we'll be seeing inclusion of Malagusto right back. Will make us even better because he's an actual right back and not a fill-in center back. Um, as well as maybe we'll see Romeo Lavia back, but we'll get to that on Friday when the match preview comes out and we look at the press conference. We'll speak more in depth about that. But thank you guys for watching. See you guys on Friday for match preview. See you.